Okay, let's apply what we know about radians and put this on the unit circle. Unit circle means the radius is 1. First of all, we're going to start with the fact that 0 degrees is equivalent to 0 radians. Don't put a degree symbol there. And we also know that there are 360 degrees in a circle, which is the same as 2 pi radians. So if we go all the way around, then we have 2 pi radians. Clearly, I'm putting my radians in a different color. It's going to stand out. So let's do some obvious things first. If we go all the way around, it's 2 pi. If we go halfway around, then it's pi. I'm going to put it down here just so it doesn't run into the 180. And it doesn't matter which side it's on, but it really represents what happens at this ray, this side of it. So this would be pi radians. And let's see, if this is 0 and this is a whole pi, then if I only go halfway, I must have half of a pi. And I would call it 1/2 pi, but I think it's more convenient to call it pi over 2. Okay? So let's keep going with this idea. Let's take care of the axes first. That's 1/2 of a pi. This is 1 whole pi. This is 1.5 pies. Sounds like I'm talking about desserts. I'm not. 1.5 pies, let's make it an improper fraction. 3 pi over 2, it's going to make it easier. And so 0 pies, half a pi, 2 halves, that's 1, 1.5, and then 2. All right, so now we're going to break it up into even smaller segments, and we're going to say, well, okay, well, if I don't want to go the half, I want to go half of a half, well, that'd be a fourth. So here at 45 degrees, this is, oops, not 4. It's pi over 4 is what I meant to put. Pi over 4, and we're going to count by fourths all the way around. So starting here, 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, well 2 over 4 reduces to half, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, well 4 over 4 is 1, we already have that, 5 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 over 4 with pi, 6 over 4 is 3 halves, 6 over 4, 7 over 4, and then 8 over 4, which would also be 2. All right, let's shift gears, literally. Pick a color, yellow, orange, or blue. Okay, you're like, oh, well, I'll pick yellow, and then I'm going to end up picking blue. All right, I'll pick yellow, fine. If the radius is 1, and this is a large circular track with a mile radius of 1 mile, then if I say, okay, how far did this car just drive? Vroom, you'd say 1 mile, okay? Now how far did the car drive? Vroom, all right, easy, 2 miles. If I say, how far did the car drive? This is driving the point home about what radians are. If I say, how far did this car drive if I went vroom? Huh? Well, it's half the circumference, and the circumference is 2 pi, see, the radius is 1, then 1 pi. If I drove vroom, I drove 1 pi. So as I put these red numbers in that represent the radians, I'm really talking about how far a car would drive around the edge to get there. So I would drive pi over 4 miles to go from here to here. I would drive pi over 2 miles. And it's not practical to talk like that, but that would be the exact value. Okay? That's what we're dealing with. Well, now we also know how to convert between radians and degrees, and we know that. We also know that. We know that from here. And so what we're going to do now is talk about what this 30 really means. Okay, now we can go about it a different way. We can say, well, this is really 1/6 of a pi, and that's fine. It is. I just blurted out the answer. But if I wanted to know what 30 was in terms of radians, then I would do radians over degrees equals pi over 180, and I'd cross multiply, and I would have 180x equals 30 pi, and I would divide by 180. And it's the same thing as saying, okay, well, how many times does 30 go into 180? And it's really going to be 6, so it's pi over 6. I would be traveling 1/6 of a pi miles if I took my car and went vroom around here. So let's do it. Let's get in our car and drive. This is 1/6 of a pi. So now we're going to travel by sixths all the way around. So if I said, okay, I have 60 degrees, what is it in radians? You can go through this process with a 60 down here, or you can look at this and say, okay, well, this is 1/6. then therefore, orange card okay with y'all? Room. 1/6, 2 over 6. Well, 2 over 6 reduces. That would be 1/3. 3 over 6, that's a half. 4 over 6, that reduces. That's 2/3. 5 over 6, 5 pi over 6. 6 pi over 6, that's 1. 7 pi over 6. And we run out of gas. Let's go to the blue car. I just wanted you to see the blue car. Not that it impacts your life, but there's the blue car. All right, so 7 pi over 6, we're counting by sixths. 8 over 6, 8 over 6 reduces to be 4/3. 8 over 6, 9 over 6, already there, already reduced. 10 over 6, that's 5/3. Thirds, there we go. 11 over 6 does not reduce. 12 over 6. Now we have radians in our unit circle.